vacated board or the board that
Board before the one that sits right here.
the vacated.
Not so easy, is it?
That's
Not,
fine.
not so easy.
Any other
Okay,
comments?
next is Heather Daerr.
Yes, hi there. If you give me 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna give part of my comment right here.
If you could state your name and your address.
Certainly,
for the record.
Heather Daerr. So Senate Bill 554 amended the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act to include the requirement that agencies post the agenda for all public meetings at least 24 hours in advance. This change took effect August 29, 2021, and applies to all agencies covered by the Act. The agenda should include all issues to be deliberated on and any planned official action, such as votes. Now that was just a little precursor so the people and our residents who are unaware of that law change and how important it is for transparency understand the Act. Excuse me. So, and if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, may I close this door a little bit so I can see everybody here? And I'd like to also...
Sorry, Mr. Calderon.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. I'd also like the public to be able to listen to this. I'm deeply concerned over the legality of this evening's meeting. And my public comment is going to be directed to you, Solicitor Dennis Maple, for your advice on this meeting. So, my concern is, I believe that this meeting agenda is insufficient in many areas. So if you turn to page 2, you'll notice that there's several blanks. 5, 6, and 7 fail to state a name of anybody who is going to be considered for hire and their rate of pay. If we move down to item number 11, there's a CPA firm being considered to do a 2022 audit, and there is no registered CPA firm on this agenda. And I don't know how the voting public can come in here and adequately, I'm sorry, I'll wait till Mr. Wilson is done speaking. I don't know how the public can come in here and legitimately make a public comment on this agenda when it is so sparse in detail. Move down, if you can, to motion or item number 13. And just by the way, serums, the acronym serums is spelled incorrectly. It's spelled as a medical term there. Motion to approve the 2023 payment of blank. So what are we paying? How can we make a public comment on what you're spending tonight when it's not legitimate in this agenda? So let's move on. If you go down to the bill pay, you'll see that it's blank. And also, there's a payroll that is blank. Now, more than the fact that this agenda, to me, is very concerning in its legitimacy, my deeper concern is that this agenda was changed at some point today. The agenda that I'm reading from, I had printed out this morning. When I came in here this evening, there's a different agenda that I picked up off of that board table. Can anybody explain that?
It wasn't 24 hours?
Well, let me go to the first point. If we would put down the person that we're hiring, then basically people would say, and I've seen this before, that we've already made a decision on who we're hiring, and basically that's a violation of the Sunshine Act. So from my experience, if we put that person's name down, that we're going to hire John Doe or Susie Q, then that would be a violation of the Sunshine Act because we made a prearranged decision prior to the meeting. So there's been no decision who they're going to hire tonight.
How is the public supposed to weigh in on such an important?
So you don't put, but if we were to put John Doe, then the first thing I can hear, this is my experience, they said you made a predetermined decision prior to the meeting.
Okay. Well, that's your opinion.
It's my
I've seen it done with approve, deny, the name of the candidate, the name of several candidates, and the opportunity for a board to deliberate in front of the public on who they are picking for that position and a rate of pay. So that's my opinion. I respect your opinion.
Vacated board, like, hiring without even advertising.
Go ahead.
No, that was my statement on that.
Okay.
Any comment on the rest of the blanks and how we're supposed to as the public?
Well, again, if we made a decision saying we're hiring John Doe accounting firm, then you would say basically you made a decision prior to the meeting. So right now, we can't do that. That'd be a bias of sunshine.
I question how a name would give a more opportunity to have a.
I'm just telling you how we do it elsewhere.
The CPA firm, Mr. Maple, was there a public bid on that?
You don't have to do an advertising for
Okay.
professional services, not required.
Okay. Okay. What about the payroll and what about the bill pay list?
Well, actually not approving payroll.
You're not approving payroll?
No.
Okay.
Because of the switching from Mr. Palermo to ADP, there was a delay in payroll.
Okay, the bigger concern is why was the agenda changed?
Was it changed from 6:30 last night?
No, not from 6:30 last night, no.
I have a copy of an agenda that looks vastly different than what's on the table. How would I, as a citizen, be able to
Well,
pull
if-
that from where?
What we could do, again, I don't know, I didn't look at the email, I didn't look at the website last night, but if something was added, Act 65 2021 was adopted in August of 2022, I believe, and basically requires you to add things to the agenda. You can add things to the agenda. Was anything added to the agenda prior to 6:30 last night?
No, the payroll was taken off between 5 and 6 because ADP couldn't process it in time.
Mr. Maple, I would like to refer you can look at my copy here, but there is a whole additional line item on here that makes a motion to, excuse me here, let's see here. It's a Brassy, Breland, Bassey motion.
I see, just in case we have that as an added to the agenda.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, so this is the bill we had to pay for mediation fees?
Due to the prior board language, yes.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Supervisor Dupree, you said a former board lying to a judge. Is that what you just said?
Go on, do you have any other comments?
Was that what you just said?
Do you have any other comments?
So.
So my understanding is that fee was because there was previous litigation.
Okay, that's
To
irrelevant.
extend.
The
Right.
relevancy of this conversation right now is was the agenda changed mid-session outside the public
No,
eye?
between 5 and 6. But if
Excuse
somehow
me?
the draft agenda went up, we could do an amended agenda about
So
that
if
one
it
line item.
wasn't under there at 6:30, we could just make that as a motion to amend the agenda at the end of the meeting.
For the Bassey, it's court ordered by the judges.
So there's several other items on there that was amended. Are you guys ahead of that? Do you understand what your agenda looks like and how you've changed it outside of the public eye?
Outside 45 is court ordered.
But the court actually requires the township to post this agenda 24 hours in advance of the meeting. If anything, if it wasn't there prior to that meeting, then you're gonna have to make a motion to add that to the agenda. Pursuant to 55. I didn't know it was on the agenda at 6:30 last night. I didn't.
So, Mr. Lakeway, there was significant changes made to this agenda outside of the public eye, and I'm deeply concerned over it. And I'm not going to do the homework of this board and point out everything, but I think it would be wise for the public here to understand what's happening, and for them to have an agenda that's true and correct before any legislation is done this evening.
So,
Thank you very much.
just in case that, somehow we had the draft agenda, I added a read and finish about 5:30.
So the Breeden thing wasn't on the agenda at 6:30?
Well, it was
Well,
not on
this
it.
would be the agenda that was been posted on last night. That's when I shoot mine on.
You got yours, remember I went to go
Yeah.
post it after you.
So let me see
So,
what happened.
what were you here about 4?
I left about 20 after 5.
20 after 5. So then we discussed that the briefing discussion had to go on. But I had it posted for the 6:30 mark.
The Breeden situation wasn't on there last night.
Well, at 5.
At 5. Okay, so that wasn't on the agenda. If you want, we can just delete that off the agenda, and we can do that at February's meeting. Okay?
If
And
you
the
wish,
payroll
Dennis, we
can
can still
take
put
it
it on
off.
there as a discussion.
basically, you can make a motion to add it to the agenda.
Sure.
Okay, I need that 65 in 2021. And then you have to go through procedure, okay?
And the payroll is taken off.
Payroll's taken off. Because we can't meet ADP situation.
Because, yeah, okay, I'm switching over payroll
That's
companies,
fine.
so there was no
Alright.
payroll.
There's one more.
What else?
Your
You're failing to
permanent is
remember.
done. Moving on, any other public comment?
Richard Lawson.
Boy, you spent more than 3 minutes me talking to her against transparency.
All that whispering you do, that's nice.
You have a comment?
Mr. Lawson.
I'm gonna hold mine to the end.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
That's it.
Okay. All right, I'd like to announce an executive sessions for January 7th and January 14th, dealing with personnel. Okay, then the unfinished business. Vacancies, we still have a position on the Park and Recs Board. The Planning Commission is full, so that's a typo. The PCSA, was filled by Mr. Barner at the last meeting. We have one secretary assistant treasurer. We have vacancy board, zoning hearing board, and the treasurer assistant secretary. Okay, so the reports. The officer's not here tonight. You guys all got your reports? Okay. Action items. Motion to approve the minutes for December 28th, 2022. Public meeting. I make a motion to approve them?
What, there's some typo errors on there I'd like to correct.
Okay, let me go out. Big packet, so. hold on a second. Oh, I got it. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. What do you want to correct on?
All right, number one is, that there was the year wasn't finished in for Mr. Benahasky. Was it 2020, 2021? I don't know what, it's not on the number's not on the minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then, I attended a meeting with PennDOT about the bridge, and it says on it, was it Route 8, replacing a bridge at Route 88. Is it Route 88? The bridge is on Mingo Church Road. It's right at the intersection of Route 88 and Mingo Church Road.
Roman Run or something like that.
It's from and there's the creek, but it's on the road. PennDOT will close Mingo Church Road whenever they undertake it. It's tentatively scheduled for 2024.
Okay.
And then, on down, it said the minutes from the December, it should be the December 14th, 2020, it says, hey.
Yeah, it's December 14th.
And then also again, on over, it says the 14th.
Okay. Any other?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Got a couple of papers.
Then I would make a motion
Wait a minute,
to
one other.
approve the minutes once the corrections have been.
He has more corrections.
I just got one
Another
more.
typo.
Just one more, is on the last paragraph, there's a pound sign, it should be a dollar sign for the
Okay,
23,000.
okay. So,
Wait a minute, let's see if there's something else. No, that's it.
okay, so you'd like to make a motion based on approving with the changes that Mr. Parrish requested?
I made that motion.
All right, I'll second that motion. Roll call?
Dupree,
Yep.
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans, Ford, yes, motion carried.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes of January 3rd, 2023 reorganization meeting. Anybody have any requested changes to that or anything?
Now I'll make a motion, we approve of
Okay,
the minutes of January 3rd reorganization meeting.
so motion by Mr. Parrish, any seconds?
I'll second it.
Second by Evans Boren. Any discussion? No? Roll call?
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans, Boren, yes, motion carried.
Okay, the fee schedule. Motion to approve the 2023 fee schedule resolution.
And the fee schedule resolution incorporates the fees going to be utilized by the new code enforcement officer and also by the new engineering firm. And also has updates in terms of what you're going to charge for zoning and all that. So the fee schedule incorporates what's been submitted by Carol Ivory for MCS and by Banks and Engineers.
Okay.
Excuse me, do we have a fee schedule to look at
You will tomorrow,
after you approve it?
after we approve it, you will tomorrow, if we approve it.
I'll make that motion.
All right? Any second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a first by Evans Bourne, a second by Mr. Wilson. Any comments? All right, no discussion, roll call?
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yeah, these fee schedules, the adjustments that were made were reduced, is that correct?
Well, we took the fee schedule submitted by Mr. Carol Ivory, behalf of MCS, and also Banks and Engineers. We incorporated that to your fee schedule. Plus, we updated your other fees in terms of zoning and so forth, your additional use requirements.
He's asking if it's a reduction for the most part.
It's pretty much, some of it is a reduction and some of it is not a reduction, so.
Some of it's staying the same, some of it's reduction. Okay.
Spar,
Michelle, you
guys
speak up, it's hard to hear.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans, Boren, yes, motion carried.
Okay, so, this was tabled from the last meeting, so I'm gonna ask if there is any motion to untable the appointment to the vacancy board. Anyone wanna motion to untable that? Okay,
So we're not taking off the table all then?
not for this one.
So it stays on the table.
Okay,
Now, the next one deals with the interim assistant secretary, and we met with, I believe we interviewed, the township interviewed a number of different candidates, and some of them were capable, I believe. We did not make a decision because that would be violation of the Sunshine Act, and we did not make a decision as to the rate of pay. So, this is different, this is for Christy Moore, sorry.
this is the interim to train.
Yeah, because what's happening right now is the office is in shambles. We have no, there's no reconciling the checkbooks. It's just, it's a mess. So Christy Moore from Canton Township is willing to assist in cleaning up the office, putting the files together. There's no filing system whatsoever. And basically, she's going to also help train the assistant, your new staff members also.
So much like a shadowing for a temporary.
Well, she'll be a
period of
mentor,
time.
like you're hiring new people who have no skills in being a municipal secretary or municipal treasurer, so she'll be here to help that out, plus to help put the files together.
So much like Mr. Palermo did with Ms. Dooley or so,
I wasn't here for that.
okay. But similar, it's a shadowing and training program.
So there was a decision made.
There's been no decision made at all.
You just said there was.
The decision is to
What-
get somebody to help put the files together.
You just said you have a candidate, Christy Moore.
We have a candidate, but they haven't voted on it yet. Okay, so does the board want to make a decision to utilize your services or not? It's up to you.
What rate are we?
I think she's asking for $24 an hour.
I have it on April to you.
Yeah.
24.
Did you guys hear that?
24.
Okay.
You said her name was what?
Christy Moore.
Christy Moore.
motion to hire Christy Moore as the interim assistant secretary, interim assistant secretary at the rate of $24 an hour, no benefits. And that is at a training for training.
Okay, so there's been a motion made by Evans Boren to hire Christy Moore as an interim assistant secretary at the rate of $24 an hour with no benefits.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a first by Evans Boren, a second by Parrish. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans Boren, yes, motion carried.
Now, the last 2 weekends, you guys have been interviewing people for different positions for the township,
Hence the executive sessions.
hence the executive sessions. Now, you've interviewed a number of people that seem competent. Now, it's up to you to make a decision who you want to hire and what rates you want to hire them at.
We must not interview 20.
You've interviewed a lot.
Okay,
And
so,
and both these positions have to be bonded. They have to have, be able to have bonded by the state insurance.
okay, does anybody want to make a motion to hire anybody for the position of treasurer, assistant secretary? And then we need to discuss the rate.
Well, what you should do is figure out, this position should be for 90 days probation. And basically, on probation, they should, no benefits for 90 days.
No benefits, 90 days. Okay, so does anybody, do we discuss the rate first? Or
Well, we can discuss the rate, you can discuss the people you interview, but you had competent people to do the job.
you're saying we have no rate there?
Well, what rate do you want to put for that person?
That's what I'm saying, just make it into the motion to,
I would nominate the person and then include the rate at the second part of the,
after the, and then with no benefits for the first 90-day probationary time.
correct.
So, does anyone want to nominate anybody for the position of treasurer, assistant secretary?
I'll make a motion to we hire Lloyd Steelwagon Patterson for the position of treasurer, assistant secretary for 2023.
Do you have a rate you're thinking of?
That was 20, I can't remember, 20. I did have, I don't know.
You talked about a few different
Yeah, I know.
possibilities for rates, so I don't know.
I know we looked at what the salary raise was
Yeah,
across
I mean,
the state, so they have the salary
We
raises
went from
in there.
22 to 25. I was looking more towards like 23.50, but I don't know.
I think we have it here tonight, don't we? Standing in the doorway there.
Oh, hello. Hi, hello.
All right.
Recognize her.
Between 22 and 25, 23, 23.50 works for me. Does that
Okay.
work for everybody else?
Well, he's gotta put that in his motion
Okay,
first.
okay,
for us to decide.
23.50?
Does that work for
Right,
you?
okay,
With no benefits for the first
90 days.
90 days probationary. Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Parrish to hire Lori Stillwagon Patterson for the position of treasurer, assistant secretary at the rate of $23.50 an hour, with no
That
benefits.
will be treasurer.
I said treasurer assistant, yeah. At the rate of $23.50 an hour with, no benefits during the probationary first 90 days. Have any seconds?
Second.
Okay. So we got a first by Parrish, a second by Spar. Any, discussion?
One thing, would that be effective, like, she would have to give a notice, it'll be by February the 1st, is that what we're,
I'm assuming she has to give 2 weeks' notice.
she has to give 2 weeks' notice, right?
I did.
Okay.
7, motion to, oh, I'm sorry. There's so much talking in the back. If you could be quiet back there, Mr. Powell.
If you could
it's very
speak
hard
up,
to-
we can hear you.
Well, you could hear me better if you'd stop talking.
And how did you hire somebody who's already quit her job?
Whatever reason, she might have left her job for other reasons.
Make an excuse.
She
Maybe
probably
you're right.
wouldn't have been looking
might be
for a
right.
job if she was happy at the job she was at, but that's her personal business.
You might be right.
But if you could just be quiet back there,
And you guys
then none
speak
other
up so we
people
can
could
hear
hear
you.
better.
That's Albert Van Houski too. Call him.
Okay, roll call.
Dupree,
Yes.
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans, Warren, yes, motion carried.
The next one is for Secretary, Assistant Treasurer. You guys interviewed other people. Anybody, who you guys want to hire?
All right, we have anybody that wants to put a motion up for any of the other candidates for the position of Secretary, Assistant Treasurer?
Out of the two that we did interview over the weekend, I felt that the first candidate that we interviewed, I believe her name was Tammy Walsh, was qualified.
Oh, so you want to make a motion for a
Is
Tammy Walsh?
everybody else okay with
Well, you're gonna
that?
make the motion and see. So you have a rate in mind for the Secretary, Assistant Treasurer?
I believe that what we researched on that is was going to try to keep it between $18 and $20 an hour. I think that we should go with the $20 an hour to retain help.
And, again, with the no health care for 90?
On probation for 90 days.
Okay, probationary period. Okay, so are you calling that a motion?
I'll call that a motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Linda Evans Boren to hire a Tammy Walsh for the position of Secretary, Assistant Treasurer at the rate of $20 an hour, with a probationary period of 90 days. Do we have any seconds?
Second.
Okay, so we have Evans Boren made the motion. Mr. Spar seconded. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
One second here, I'm getting this all down.
Won't you be glad when someone else is doing that?
Absolutely. Okay, Dupree,
Yes.
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans, Warren, yes, motion carried.
So we have this motion to approve the payment to Mr. Bass.
Since there's been a question about being placed on the agenda, you can't consider unless you add it to the agenda.
But it's not.
What's that?
So we can have discussion about it, right? We can add it, we can choose
You
to add it
can't,
to the
you
agenda
can't,
for
you can't,
discussion.
you can make a motion, you'd Act 65 to add it to the agenda. You have to go through procedure. Once you add it to the agenda, if it's approved, then you have to do your minutes the next day.
That's, well, you're
Amend
you
your
amend
agenda.
your agenda the next day.
Correct.
Okay. So I make a motion to add to the agenda. The payment to Bassey, Vreeland and Associates for the PCSA mediation as ordered by Judge Lucas. By adding it, if we add this to the agenda, we open that item up for discussion.
Correct.
So,
No, but they're saying it
there's
was.
a question whether or not my change in the agenda made it. Whether or not it posted live. I added that about 5:30 last night, whether or not it posted live to the website or not.
Okay, so if it's not, let's be safe about it then.
Yeah, that's better safe than sorry.
Correct.
So you're making a motion to
Well-
add,
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I don't know if I make this, is that the minutes in nature if it's not legal discussion? Because then I'm gonna take that back and just put it on next
The
agenda.
Bassey bill?
Yeah,
I would recommend just put it on the agenda for
that's what I'm
February's meeting.
thinking, because I can't consider that, I can only add it for a
I
discussion
just-
item.
Should we
I
table?
take
Just-
that
no,
out.
you don't
It's
take-
not
no,
tabled,
it's not
it
an
wasn't,
agenda.
yeah.
No?
But this is for, we can do that February's meeting.
Okay.
May I make a comment on that?
No.
Being at the,
No.
being at the,
No,
No,
you can't.
we're legislating.
At the
right
end of the
now,
meeting,
please.
you
Okay.
could,
So we're making a motion to.
We're not
No,
doing
you're not doing
anything with
anything. No, it's just, it's not
we're
being
not doing
considered.
anything with that.
We're just gonna
Being that
skip
there's
it.
a question
To
whether or
February.
not it was live on our
All right.
website, and we're not.
Okay.
So we'll just skip number 8, since
Okay.
there was a question.
So,
Let me get that in my minutes. All right,
okay, so number 9. Motion to appoint Ed Fry in the zoning hearing board for a 3-year term to fill the expired term of Kevin Daerr.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, so we have a first by Wilson, a second by Parrish. Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans Bourne, yes, motion carried.
Okay, number 10. Motion to appoint Carl Hanford to the zoning hearing board for the 1-year term to fill the vacant position formerly held by Donald Fincham.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Any seconds?
Second.
I think that's Carl there with the hat on.
mm-hmm.
Welcome aboard. Okay, so any discussion? Roll call?
Who was the second on that one?
Chuck.
Chuck Wilson. Dupree,
I'm gonna abstain.
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans Bourne, yes, motion carried.
Okay. Motion to approve the second amendment to the sequestered account agreement with Scarmazy Highland Village, which was tabled at our December 28th meeting.
Correct. It was because some people hadn't looked at the agreement.
So motion to take
Take
it
it
off
off
the
the
table. So I'm gonna make the motion to take it off the table.
I'll second that.
Okay, so that's gonna be an, yeah. So we have a motion by Dupree, a second by Wilson to untable that.
Okay.
Any discussion? No? Okay, roll call.
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans Bourne, yes, motion carried.
Okay, so now, motion to approve the second amendment to the sequestered account for Scarmazy Highland
And
Village.
what this is money being held by the Washington Financial for the development itself. There's been some reductions, I believe, in different areas and some add-ons. I reviewed the agreement, I reviewed the recommendations and all that by the consultant, so I have no objection to that being approved by the township.
And this was something that they requested.
They request.
Okay,
And I'll make the motion to approve the second amendment to the second
for the sequestered.
sequestered account agreement.
All right.
I'll second that.
So we have a first by Wilson, a second by Parrish. Any discussion? Roll call?
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans Bourne, yes, motion carried.
Okay. So, motion to hire the CPA firm to conduct the audit for the year, who we're hiring.
And-
you know, we advertised we were going to hire
And
the
we,
CPA firm.
I'll tell you what, I contacted different firms I've dealt with over the years. It's very difficult to get anybody, based upon the circumstances they read in the newspaper. So I did get one person by the name of Turnley, who I dealt with. He represents about over about 100 different municipalities in terms of audits. I gave you the proposal. The proposal is, I think, a lot cheaper than what you had before. It has $7,000 per year for 3 years. And if you wanted to, they'll submit to DCED for just $250. So it'd be a $7,250 per year if you want to do the email to DCED. I've dealt with this firm before. I deal with them in different municipalities I represent. They're competent. I called people that I knew that said they, like Cipher and Cipher. I didn't get any response back from them. I called a number of other ones, and they expressed no interest because they're busy. So this is the best I could get for you folks.
Actually, I thought they were pretty good too.
They're competent.
They got 8 cities, 34.
What's the name?
Turnley. It's Mark C. Turnley, CPA. And like you said, he represents about, 8 cities, 34 boroughs, 36 townships, 5 council of government. So they're pretty well out there. And
Work on table that first.
So, I make a motion to untable the hiring of the CPA firm of blank for 2020.
well, you could say, it's up to you who you want to hire, but that's all I can get for you.
Yeah,
folks at this
I'm just
time.
saying, we tabled it because we didn't have
You
answers.
didn't have one. Correct.
Yep,
We
so
went
I'd like to make a motion to untable it,
I'll
Take it
second
off,
that.
take it off the table.
taking it off the table.
I'll second that.
So we got a first by Dupree, a second by Evans Boren. No discussion. Roll call?
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evansborn, yes, motion carried.
Now you have to make a motion whether you want to hire them or not. Have you guys looked at the proposal?
Yeah.
Any questions about the proposal?
No.
No, I think would be good.
You need somebody.
And we should have them file the other report for this, well, we could.
Well, no, you're gonna have to talk to the previous auditor because there's you spent, I think, $17,000 to do that audit, at least my understanding is.
What now?
Or whatever it was, but we need to sit down with that audit and go over it because you still owe him money and that it needs to be submitted to the DCED. We just got that, October or November? November.
We received it in November, and there were still questions concerning bills that had not yet been analyzed by the auditor since they had not been turned in yet.
So what you may want to do is you may want to call a special meeting or have him give a presentation and answer your questions.
Okay, so, now that it's untabled, we took a roll call on the untabling.
Yep.
So, I'd like to make well, yes, I'll have to read the motion again. Now, a motion now that it's been untabled, we need to make a motion to hire a CPA firm for the year 2022. I'd like to make a motion to hire Mark C. Turnley, CPA, for the audit for the year 2022. Any seconds?
Second.
Okay. Dupree first, Spar second, and any discussion? No? Okay. Roll call?
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evansborn, yes, motion carried.
Now, the next one, I believe, is what you're going
Fees
to,
schedule.
1 year or 3 year contract with these folks.
Price, I couldn't see turning down a 3-year contract.
With no inflation either, by the way. No escalator clause.
The same amount for each year for 3 years, $72.50.
It's for year 20, to do the audit for 2022 would be $7,000. Option for 2023 at $7,000. Option for 2024 is $7,000. Now, if you want them to e-file the municipal annual audit to DCED by April 1st, which is what you're supposed to do, they're going to charge you additional $250 for each year, so it'd be $7,250 for 2022, $7,250 for 2023, $7,250 for 2024.
Sounds like a deal to me. Okay. So,
for 3 years?
So,
Is there a discount for 3 years?
No, it's a 3-year contract, but $7,250 each year.
I think there was a difference.
They'll just lock in a price. Anyway, roll call. We had a first and a second.
Motion first.
Oh, I did make the motion.
She did, my son.
He did, and he seconded it. We just had the discussion. Roll call.
It was tabled, do we have to untable?
You
We
had-
already did that too.
All right,
We untabled, and then I made the motion to hire Mark Turnley,
okay.
and then
Yeah,
Larry
but now we're
seconded it.
setting, now we're setting the rate.
The fee schedule.
So, I make a motion to approve the fee schedule for the CPA firm for, does it matter that I'm changing it from 22 to a 3-year contract, starting at
Well-
22?
2022, 2023, and 2024. It's 72.50.
Can we do 22 and next meeting do 23?
Well, no, I mean, you could do it right now, I mean,
How do I word it?
so a motion to approve the fee schedule for the CPA firm for 2022, 2023, and 2024 at $7,250 for each year.
Okay. Got that written down?
Got it.
Okay, that's my motion. Any seconds on the fee schedule?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. Roll call?
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes,
Wilson,
Yes,
Evans Warren, yes, motion carried.
Okay. So, number 14, that has to do with the contract that we signed this hearing, which was $5 a head. There's not a price in there because I guess we're still figuring out the number per head, but then it's not on the bill pay tonight. It's just a vote to go ahead and pay the agreed upon contract and amount for Serum, Southeast Regional, EMS.
So in there, it would be $5.
Mm-hmm. $5 a head, we agreed upon. There was we can table it, there was an estimated based on the census. But it's not in the motion on the paper.
So do we have, we approved the contract?
We did, we signed a contract,
What does the contract say in terms of payments? I don't recall.
$5 a head, based on the seat. Because it's $5 a head, it could change year to year, so there was no flat rate price on there. It's based off, this year's is based off the census amount.
Okay.
$5 per taxpayer, how does that work?
Per head, it's based off the census, not based off of taxpayers. So it includes young people as well.
So wouldn't that, I mean, they don't do it, we don't do a census every year, I mean, it should
No.
be pretty consistent, shouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years,
We do one every
it's still
10
the
years.
same census.
You can table it, the amount.
You want to table it then? Get it
Yeah.
on? Okay, make your motion to table.
So, motion to table that.
Fine, we can leave it at $5.
We don't even technically, we've already voted on the thing, we can put it on the bill pay, for that matter.
I think that's what I'm saying, if it's already approved.
It's
then
already
bring it.
approved based on their agreement, so I mean, we could put it on the bill pay.
When we put it on the bill pay, then we'll pay it.
Well, so then we're gonna just remove, I'm not even gonna bother table, well, table it.
No, we'll table it. You want to table, just, it's
Okay.
already in hand.
Okay,
Let's skip it. So 14,
okay.
when we put it on the bill pay, then we'll bring the amount.
Okay. Number 15, motion to approve the solicitor to arrange an information gathering meeting with Peters Creek Sanitary. This would be in regards to the Timothy Alrena storage extension
Right.
project.
I had a phone call, I've been talking with Rick Kovach for PCSA, so he wants to schedule a meeting information meeting that's advertised. He wants to have it with his board and this board together, and we talked about a date and time being February 2nd at 5 p.m. And I guess he wants to talk about
supervisor's meeting.
Well, the supervisor's at 6:30.
Right.
But he wants to have a meeting before that at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
So you have your meeting at 6:30, and then you meet with them at 5 o'clock. Before that, I guess he wants to talk about the sewage situation.
All right.
Now, is this something, are they, okay with having it for the public?
Yeah, yes, we'll advertise it. It'll be advertised, public can attend.
Okay.
It'll be here at 5 p.m. I guess he wants to talk about the sewage for the Finneyville Raymond situation,
And what's that date again?
February 2nd at 5 p.m. He said that's convenient for him, his people, it's convenient for his.
Then you'll be here?
It'll be here, it'll be advertised.
Okay.
It'll be a joint meeting, people can attend and ask questions.
Okay.
So if you want to, the motion should read this. The motion to advertise for a public meeting on February 2nd at 5 p.m. for a joint meeting, the engineer should be here also, for a joint meeting with Peters Creek Sanitary Authority here at the Township Building
At 5 p.m.
at 5 p.m. February 2nd. That should be your motion, advertise that meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion to advertise a public meeting with Peters Creek Sanitary at the Union Township Building at 5 o'clock on February 2nd. Okay. I will
We
second.
included about discuss sewage
It'll be
project.
in
up
the
there.
ad. This is a motion to advertise.
It'll say to discuss the Finneyville Raymond
Oh,
sewage
okay.
extension.
Right, okay, that's what you're saying, so it should be in it.
Okay, so, you have a first by Wilson, a second by Dupree. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evansborn, yes, motion carries.
Okay. So, motion to reappoint Mr. John Seiler. Is he here?
He's behind, he's
Okay, There he
behind.
is. I did pronounce that correctly, correct? As a Union Township Representative to PCSA, Peters Creek Sanitary, for a term ending 12/31/2027.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by Parrish, seconded by Wilson. Any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Dupree,
Yes?
Spar,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evansborn, yes, motion carries.
Okay, discussion items. We have Weber Properties that has asked, oh, there.
Hi,
How are you?
good, how are you guys?
Did you state your name for the record, by the way?
My name is AJ Weber, I own Weber Properties, this is my wife Daerr. This is my traffic engineer, Josh Hato.
Okay.
I own the property in front of Paul Scarmazzi,
Okay.
right next to Tractor Supply down to Hidden Hollow Road.
We don't have a tripod here or thing to hold that on? No,
I can hold it. Well,
Why don't you do this? Why don't you bring it up here in front of us with people?
and then, yeah. we'll take
Do you
a
have,
quick
do
look and-
Mm-hmm.
you have an extra copy of that, by the way?
We can, now this is just
I'll show it to the
a
public.
rendering on what can fit there. Nothing on there, how it's set is anything concrete, it was just to give. the
It's just basically what we do in other townships, it's basically the schematic.
Yes,
Show what
sir.
you're looking at.
And there's been a lot of talk and speculation on the property, and we didn't want to come present anything until we had something that was
Send
concrete.
this off to the public side. I'll hold it for the public if you guys want to look at it. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. So the building you'll see that's closest to Hidden Hollow, it's essentially the size that it'll be, but we.
Just so you guys know, the big red thing is the Tractor Supply, you know, so you can have reference to what he's saying.
We have signed LOI, letter of intent, with Aldi. They would like to come here. It is going to go in front of their board, which everything that we have been told is going to go through with them. And I'm sure they're going to be coming here, but we just wanted to come here first, introduce ourselves, and see if anyone had any questions, concerns.
Is this your truck engineer?
Yes.
Your name again is?
Josh Cato, David Lister and Associates.
Okay.
So we've done some work in the area. We've done the work for Mr. Starmazy on Hidden Hollow and Tractor Supply. We'll be obtaining any necessary permits this development requires from the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation.
So which one of these will be the Aldi's?
On your
This one?
closest,
Right there,
yep, closest to you. Yep.
And the access road would be from onto Route 88 or to Hidden Hollow Road?
I own the easement where Tractor Supply is, and I believe what Aldi had asked is one that would tie in there. Before I build any of the other buildings, we would build an access road that would span all the way across the property to tie in to Aldi there, as well as coming off of Hidden Hollow, which was just widened by Paul.
So yeah, it doesn't appear that that one is shown, but it would, is that correct? You still would have,
So it's not showing here to the Hidden Hollow, but you're saying over here too?
Yes, if you look closely to the top left corner, that is essentially where they wanted the drive lane to come in. I believe the engineer drawing is on there.
So you'll be having a access to Hidden Hollow Road. And
Just so you guys know, this is Hidden Hollow right here.
Okay.
correct.
Paul is requesting a grant to get a turning lane.
I saw that the other day.
Yes.
I think we.
And with an LOI, I was giving it to him as well to make sure.
So what do you need from the town at this time?
We were just coming to introduce ourselves and just, this is the first large-scale thing, and, from what everyone said is we should come up and present, just because there's been a lot of rumors swirling around. So I figured we would just get ahead of it and introduce ourselves.
Sure.
And one of our first steps is to, conduct a scoping meeting with PennDOT and the municipality. PennDOT actually requires municipal participation.
Deal with them all the time about this issue.
Sure. So I understand some faces have changed and there's a new engineering consultant, so I wanted to introduce myself because I'll be reaching out to somebody at some point.
Rich Mark and all those guys retired.
Okay.
From the PennDOT, the HOP.
Rich Marker, yeah. Well, he's still around.
He's consultant. I talked to him the other day.
Yeah, he's still around. But yeah, I'll be reaching out at some point to thanks him and members of the board to coordinate that meeting, and I just wanted to not come as a surprise, wanted to introduce myself along with the project team, because you'll be hearing from me at some point.
All right. Do you have a card for the engineer, by the way?
Yes. I do.
Yes. Give it to.
And I will give them mine as well.
And also we have Harold maybe too. MCA.
Okay.
Code enforcement.
TBD.
We have no idea.
So this is not for us to keep.
You can if you want to.
What?
Like I said, this is just
Okay. Well, he doesn't
That's great. Good deal.
Although it's not official, if anyone wants to come look at it after the meeting or anytime during the week, it'll be here. Okay. So now we have a presentation by Tuscany Estates HOA.
You look familiar.
Guido from Tuscany State.
What was it again?
Pete Guido.
Oh, I remember.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thank you, sir.
The reason I'm here is that I want to give everyone a little background on what Tuscany State.
Okay.
With the previous board gone, I wanted the new board and the new engineers to understand what's going on up there at Tuscany Estates. We all know that previous officials have dropped the ball in finishing the developer's requirements at Tuscany Estates. I'm not here to point any fingers at anybody, but I just want everyone to be aware that what's required now, what's left to be done at Tuscany Estates. I gave everybody, I gave the secretary a packet of some questions that I had. Along those lines, I just want to give you a little bit of a history here. Tuscany Estates was started in 2006, which means that after 17 years, the developer has only completed phases 1 through 6. And the last one was just completed last year. Our clubhouse was completed in 2012, or thereabouts. The pool was installed in 2016. The certificate of occupancy shows that both were inspected in July of 2016. Due to various inspections and liens, the association cannot take ownership of the pool or the clubhouse. As of right now, the association refuses to take ownership of the pool because last year the Quaker Engineering came in and decided they wanted to clean it because they were trying to get it ready to transfer ownership to us. When they were cleaning it, they drained the pool, and when it was drained, one of our board members noticed that the fiberglass was buckled. There was a crack in it. But Quaker Engineering said there's no problem, so they filled it back up with water. And now they want us to take it over, and we're not taking it over until it's emptied again, re-inspected, and certified by a pool company. So that's where we are with that. We still have problems with Quaker Engineering. And all these legal issues resolved, being litigated, being resolved with our attorney.
Who's your attorney, by the way?
Our attorney is Lisa Burkhart. You know her?
Name sounds familiar.
She was originally with a firm, and she's now on her own.
She does for HOAs. She represents.
Yes, I believe her legal name is LMBH Legal Services. Lisa and Burkhart, I guess that is. I don't know.
All right.
Okay. Okay, so some of the questions I have related to this is that when we do take ownership of this building, since the building was uninhabited since 2016, do we need to get re-inspected again by the township? Or does the old certification hold?
No, it has an occupancy.
She does have occupancy?
If it has an occupancy, the
Yeah, that
position
doesn't
at the
go
time,
away.
it doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
Unless there's deficiencies in the building.
There's no new township codes or state codes, you know,
That
after
code
that.
changes every 3 years, but that occupancy says that you're allowed to use it. And unless, if there's an inspection and there's deficiencies, there could be issues.
Okay.
But right now, that certification says that you can use that building.
Even though it wasn't used since 2016.
We don't have that.
What's that?
We don't have the occupancy, do we?
Yeah, we did. I got that. Actually, someone from Harshman sent it to me via email.
You're saying, Pete, it was actually used at one time? I thought it was never used.
What was that?
It was never used.
Yeah,
It's
so
the-
that's
no, the
occupancy.
building was never used.
Right, so, 2016, the building, it's never been occupied.
It's never been occupied. It's not in bad shape. You know,
So why isn't it occupied again? I mean, why is there?
Well, there was a lien on it at one time. You know, there was things that needed to be done. We didn't want to take it over until Quaker Engineering fixed some of the problems. And now we have, you know, a big problem with the pool, so we don't want to take that over. And now, let's see, I guess. Another question I have is, does the pool have to be registered or permitted with the county or the state?
I believe that was deemed a private pool. Most public pools have to be inspected every 3 years. But because of the HOA and where it's at, it was deemed
It's
private.
considered as a private pool.
I think that's how.
So we don't have to go to permit or anything, we just.
We'll check on, see if it was registered that. I hate to say yes or no, but
From
if
what I
it
understand,
was
it has
deemed a
not been
private
registered
pool.
with the state. The state had no idea there was a pool up there. Now, I don't know who was supposed to do that, if the engineer was supposed to do it.
The engineer, well, Quaker State would have done that.
Of course, it didn't do anything, obviously. He should have been, the pool should have been put in by a certified pool installer, but I think he put it in himself. So we have no certificate saying that he's gonna, that the pool is warranted or anything like that. And the other thing we need is capacity requirements for both the pool and clubhouse. I don't know what the limits are there, if when we do take this over. So we don't need it right now, but that's.
Well, that would be an occupancy inspection to do, to figure out the calculations on the.
Okay,
on the
yeah,
use.
I thought I remember seeing them somewhere, but I don't know where they are. Okay, besides our problems, with the development, I want to address the exhibit. I think you received from your secretary, from Harshman. And in that document, he presented a list of, this was 9 items.
Yeah, 9 items.
9 items.
This is July 13th, 2022.
July 13, 2022. These documents were all presented to Quaker Engineering in regards to that, our development. Those 9 items.
Hold on just one second. I provided this in December ahead of time because he had pushed me. So if you want another copy of it, I can make one right now so we can go through it while he talks, but we haven't seen it. I'm just making sure we've all.
I gave
He gave
copies to.
Back in December, and that's when I gave.
No, I
it to
gave
him.
some to her about last week, 2 weeks, or a week.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago, and that's when I gave it to him. That's why
Okay.
I wanted to make sure whether or not
I
they.
thought everybody would have a copy of that in the right.
I have a copy in front of me.
We got those
So
previous.
all of those 9 items need to be addressed and completed in a timely manner, so that the last phase can be considered a final phase. Because once that's done, I'm assuming Miranda is going to take over the next phases. They have plans of selling all the rest of that to Miranda. Now, at the last inspection of our development, it was noted that the cost for the infrastructure was about $250,000 that needed to be done. And the bond money being held was only $138,000. I'm not sure if that's still the balance. I'd like to know if that is the balance of the bond. Since the township is responsible for this infrastructure, then I believe that the township is accountable to supply the difference of whatever that is, $112,000, to get all the items completed on that list. It has been about 6 months since that letter was written, and to my knowledge, nothing has been done in Tuscany Estates. The association is proposing that Quaker Engineering be giving a timeline. There is no timelines on anything on that list, so that each item can get completed in a timely manner. And if it's not completed, then we are suggesting that the bond money be used to cover those expenses and get the things done that are on that list. And that's as per state requirements and probably the Planning Community Act. We have that right. There's also some other items that are not listed on there. I personally didn't notice if there was anything. There should be a sidewalk. I don't know if anyone is familiar with the development, but on Daerr Reggio Road, it goes in a circle and then the sidewalk touches the driveway of the pool and clubhouse. And then after that, there's no sidewalk. And I would think the sidewalk should run to the intersection, and then a crosswalk be there, as well as a crosswalk on the front of the building, which connects to the intersection on Daerr and Tuscany Estates Drive. But, you know, these are some things that I noticed. I don't want to make any additional waves, but, you know, if we do make any changes, I want to add those to our list. Because of all this, the board of directors of the association would like to request that the new township officials use this document to make sure that everything is addressed and that everything is resolved and completed by Quaker Engineering. The board of directors also requests that we be included in any future correspondence and/or meetings related to Tuscany Estates, which includes any meetings with Quaker Engineering, the township, or the township engineer. The taxpayers, 141 of us up there now, have waited 17 years for this to be done. But because of an unreliable developer and a lack of follow-up by our township, we hope we can resolve these issues.
Here's my recommendation to the board. And I remember my first time around trying to help you guys out the first time around. I think what we need to do is I think the township needs to look at the developers agreements. We need to take a look at the plans from back then, because the plans and developers agreement would basically summarize what needs to be done up there. And I don't, you know, again, I haven't.
Well, I think that Harshman has already summarized that in that letter. So
I'm still saying I'd like to just make sure everything's covered.
Okay.
I think we need to take a look at that and also about the agreement. So I don't know if I still have, I think I may still have some of those documents in my office.
As he knows, after he apparently made Sean aware in July, when I had heard from them stopping by and they were having one of their meetings, I showed him that I was starting to pull documents from
there were some documents, but I
the
understand they're
CPN.
not there anymore.
Yeah, so I've since found a couple other things, some a disc and so forth. Still trying to. And then whenever this board came on, you had approached me and I gave that list to Sean again. Told him to start getting back to you and the board, but.
Okay. I also reached out to Harshman to. I sent an email to Jared. And he forwarded it to Jamie Harshman, and in there I requested some information about what the status of the items are. I mean, one of the items was it should be an inspection of the drains, you know. And we just go down through one. Approval of the sewers. You know, and you know, all kinds of pictures of the stormwater drains and things like that. I don't think any of that was done. Quaker Engineering's engineer themselves, who was Miss Christine Barton, was supposed to, you know, send a new estimate based on the changes in the infrastructure.
And Christine Barton worked for Quaker Engineering, or
I
what?
believe so. I don't know who she is.
I saw the name here. I read this information. I didn't know who she was.
So, you know, none of this, as far as I know, has been updated. The only thing I got from Harshman was the certificate of occupancy. So that's where we stand. I just wanted this board to understand what we've been going through over the years. And I want something to get done as soon as possible. I hope this is the last year we have to worry about what's going on up there.
Here's our recommendation to the board, that I'll see what I have from my old files, and I'll supply those to PJ from Banks and myself.
I have covenants. We've got all the documents you might need if you need them.
You
I might even be able to email them to you.
Documents that I pulled. And I had a disc I found.
You have a new card, Dennis?
Yeah, we changed our email address. So what I'll do is basically look at the thing, because I'll make sure you guys are taken care of. And, make sure it's done the right way.
Exactly, well, that's what we don't want the ball to be dropped again.
I think you even took a ride through there.
Oh, I took a number of rides through there over the years.
No, I'm saying just a
Thank
few
you.
weeks ago. When you guys were with
Okay, so
Okay, so I'll send you some.
send me what you have, and I'll give it to TJ, and we'll go from there. Okay?
But they also look at that letter from Harshman, because there's a lot of information there.
I'll scan this and somebody else.
I would like a copy of that letter to review.
I'll get it
as
to you
well.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, give it to him tonight. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I moved my paperwork around right now. Oh, it's on the back of it, okay.
So you go airports next?
Number 3, discussion item, presentation by the Finleyville Airport.
Harley, yeah, my name's Shane Barr, I'm here with John Vick, Martin Tony, Phil Fernand, representing the airport. So back in 2021, we started it was really a on-premise private community water and sewage project. And this is just, there's a number of hangars that are below the tapping tank for the sewer up on Airport Road, where we've gone so far. And so this is designed to pump sewage up to that existing tap and then take it away. This design was approved by Peters Creek Sanitation Board, the guy represented it. I mean, this is back.
I was there when you presented.
Were you there?
it.
Okay. Yeah, Rick, I mean, they signed off on it, and we've had just obstacle after obstacle presented to us. We've been compliant with each of the obstacles. Here we are, I mean, it's 2023. All we're looking for is permission. Peters Creek needs permission for us to go ahead with this installation of an approved design. They work fast so that they need to inspect the work, but they can't go up and inspect the work until they get the blessing of the township. So again, like
Good. So, and I'm looking at this, like I said the other day.
What I was saying to him is that since we have just voted to advertise a meeting with Peters Creek anyway, that it might be something that if we write it down, and remember, we can kind of discuss that with Peters Creek at the same time, since that's up and coming already, it might be quicker.
So what you want to do is you want to put sewage up there then?
yeah, I mean, it's really just, like everything's design approved. It's just, we were unable to get permission from the township, for Peters Creek to inspect the work.
When I last spoke with Rick actually asked that we petition the board here to just send him anything that says he can inspect what we do. Because we can move forward as far as digging is concerned, but if it's open, we won't be able to cover it.
Okay, so where does the sewage come down Airport Road, or where does it, what do you need to do?
Again, it's a small grinder pump that pumps sewage uphill to our existing sewage tap. It's all private, on premise, it's not a new tap, again. Peters Creek Board approved the design. I mean, we can show you the design.
Shane,
Yes.
we applied for permits for Union Township. Harshman was involved. He approved them. We come down and paid the fees, and then he turned around and wouldn't give us the permit.
Who wouldn't give you the permit?
Well, it was Jamie Harshman and Jared. I didn't want to get into all that, but, basically, the date, I mean, we have, because again, we've been complying, we try to be good, good neighbors. So this is back in December of '21, where the specific permit was a grading permit that Harshman required of us. Now, there's no grading other than a trench being dug to put the sewage lines in and then fill back in. So, I mean, you can debate whether a grading permit is ever even required, but we spent $1,500, had an engineer draw up the design, and then we, submitted that. Again, we got approval from Harshman, we paid for the permit, posted a $1,000 bond, and then we're denied because of claims of the other outstanding issues, other outstanding citations. Which realistically, if you've got, I didn't think you could hold, one unrelated permit hostage for,
Do you have a card or anything?
I can get.
Can you give me your phone number?
Sure.
Okay, just write me down your phone, your name and phone number here.
Shane, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, we have
it
no
doesn't, I don't
documentation.
understand why.
We'll try to gather it for the.
I don't, it doesn't make sense.
TJ wanted,
Exactly.
TJ wanted to ask him a
Shane,
question.
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Was the sanitary sewage facilities planning module ever submitted to Union Township for the sanitary sewer extension?
Would that
Yes.
come? Yeah, that came from Peters Creek. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we forwarded everything that Peters Creek required of us and the board approved. We sent all that information to Jamie Harshman.
Okay.
And when did you send that information, sir? Last year or what?
It was 2021 when all that was submitted and when we paid the permits. Yeah.
So look, is the line, is everything installed? I mean,
No. I mean, we didn't want to proceed until we had permission, so.
okay, do me a favor.
If we can't have it inspected, we shouldn't open the trenches. We want to be good neighbors.
Write me down your name and phone number. Let me talk to you tomorrow. And I'll do a telephone conference call with you tomorrow.
We want to talk about his.
Just write so I can read it, because my handwriting sucks, but.
Speaking with the sewage authority would probably be a good next step as well.
Yeah.
About what information's been submitted to them and.
I don't know what to think, but we'll try to work it out so you get it done as soon as possible, okay?
Thank you.
All right. I'm just trying to figure out, what you tell me just doesn't make sense
If
to me.
there's any information you can get for us.
It's a long story.
Well, I'll figure out, I'll get the
Yeah,
whole
any
story
public
out to you.
like,
Yeah, we do.
we just don't
I just
have.
didn't want to bring it here.
I attended the meeting they were at, but I don't have it.
All right, thank you, folks. We'll try to get it done as soon as possible, okay?
Okay, Gilmore Road drainage issue. I believe that was a discussion item you wanted to start, Steve?
Yes, Mr. Kelsey Hoffman lives down on Gilmore Road down there, and the hill is sliding down there going toward his home down there. And it's due to water coming down Gilmore Road. There's a cross drain up there that's plugged. And then there's some other drains down there that were, I guess they're not filled in yet, but I don't think they're working. But the water from where that pipe is plugged, it's flooding the whole area down there and washing the sides of the road out and everything. The whole hill is going to slide out. In fact, it may come down onto Gilmore Road. So the question is whether
It may come down on the Cold Bluff. You said Gilmore may come down
on the Cold Bluff.
Okay, you said
Well,
Gilmore.
I'm
I'm just
sorry.
clarifying, that's
All
right.
So anyhow, he's concerned about what's going to be done about that. Now, I checked with him, and he owns the right of way, and he owns property up to where this pipe is. The township has a house bought in there at some time back, and the house now is landlocked. You don't have access to the home.
So that would be the Ludstrom house or whatever?
I guess that's the one.
Ludstrom. So when the township vacated the road, they purchased, I know that they purchased the Ludstrom house. Is that the landlocked?
Well, but this is up above this is up above that house yet, where the bend, the real sharp bend is in the road, where the cross drain is plugged up, needs to be opened up.
Because I found, searching through for documentation about what happened there, that the township declined a grant to fix the problem and chose to vacate the road. Why, I don't know, but they declined a grant that they were given and chose to vacate. And apparently purchased that property, which is now an issue, because if we own that property and that is possibly coming onto someone else's property, then it's now what used to be a private person's problem is now our problem.
Well, can the township legally go up there, Dennis, and open that cross drain up?
Well, it's property. If you go up the hill, And again, I just located the ordinance the other day, closing Gilmore. I think it was closed a number of years ago. There's some law that says basically that once you close it, it reverts back to
The property owner.
the property owners. I mean, but I think what I would do is I would try to get the acquiescence of those property owners, like I think, was it Consols and properties?
Console and Kelsey Hoffman.
I would
And
see
Union
it.
Township.
Sure, and I would see, yeah, Union Township also.
And
Because, you know, the thing about it is with roads, the major issue you have with roads is drainage. If you don't have the appropriate drainage, then that causes slips. So, and I was down there with you, I guess, a while back to take a look at some issue because we had a problem with that Nick Felicia and his easement.
Right.
But I think if you don't take care of the slip, you don't take care of the stormwater, what's going to happen? That whole thing's going to come down line, create more headaches. So
It's moving. It's moving good already.
So I think what you need to do is, I think we need to do our homework. We need to, I'll make sure we contact his owners, CNX, and this Mr. Hoffman, is that it?
Kelsey Hoffman, yes.
Contact them about getting us a right, whenever you go on people's property, you either have an easement or you have a right of entry. So we'd have to get right of entries from those folks to go up there and take care of it. But that's something we have to make sure when we do the stormwater, we do it the right way. Okay?
Okay.
I know that it was something that was brought to Sean's attention from Hartman. He thought that the fix might be easy, but then further looking at it, and he was the one that initially told me that he was a bit shocked that the township had received a grant and chose to
Yeah,
not.
they said there was a grant received, but then they turned it down. It was
And they-
turned
yeah,
down.
turned it down. Fix the problem. Okay. Discuss the ordinance enacting tax credits for volunteer fire companies and nonprofit emergency medical service agencies. That was something that was discussed back in December, and then you offered up a
Draft ordinance.
draft ordinance.
What we do, because firemen basically are providing a service free of charge. So basically, I think it was Act 172 was passed a number of years ago, which provides the ability to have firemen that are active basically get some type of remuneration. They either get, like, I think the ordinance that I put together has like a $500 credit for earned income tax, or provide some type of benefit to the tax to them in terms of real estate tax. And that act was passed again. 172 was passed a number of years ago, and it tries to help the firemen to doing what they have to do because they are providing a service to the community at their own expense. So we've done that at different communities, trying to pass that ordinance. But I sent it to you guys to take a look at. If you have any questions, you can ask questions, or you can just, we can make a motion to advertise, or we can just table it and ask questions at the next meeting. But it's to help the firemen out because they are providing a good service to your community.
Would it be okay to maybe give a copy for
Firemen and the ambulance.
the firemen?
Well, it can be used for
meeting vote to advertise it?
What I would do is I would give it to your local fire department. You have El Raymond, correct? Now, we don't have any, Finneyville, even though they provide service, they have to pass that ordinance itself. Now, I spoke to the secretary, I think, or the other day, about another issue in the township.
Yeah, but
Malore. Finneyville would have to
about
pass.
the water on
Right.
school place or whatever.
So I mentioned that ordinance, and she said that they're considering adopting the same type of ordinance. So you may want to send her a copy, and I have both.
Okay,
Fire
so send it to Ramo Fire Department and
Send
then
to El Ramo, send to.
the secretary at Finneyville
Correct.
Borough.
Well, we should go to ambulance service too. It says EMTs too in there.
Yeah, it would be a
You can send it-
non-profit emergency medical.
But it has to be something that's the people have to,
Be residents of the township.
have
We
it.
do have some residents.
All right.
Okay?
Okay, so I will send it to Sierra, they can take a look at it for if they have any people in there that are in the township, and then I will send it to El Ramo and Fire Department, and then I will send it to Finneyville Borough, and
And
then
it's a good thing for the people.
put it on the agenda next week to vote on, or
Well, we
next
don't have to
meeting
send
to
it to
vote
the
on
borough, though. They have
advertising
to
it.
adopt their own.
Well, no, but she's gonna send them a copy as
Oh,
an example.
okay.
I've already received copies,
Oh, okay.
Dan, for them to look at them. Maybe we can put it on the next meeting to
Right.
vote to advertise it.
Right.
Okay, so it's Ramo. Okay. F, bill pay list. approve or deny the bill pay list for the Brentwood Brentwood Bank general account in the amount of $232,983.21. I will tell you, you guys know, but the yearly insurance was in there. That was a large bulk of, due to the increased rate in insurance, that was a large part of that amount of money. But, I make a motion to approve the bill pay list for the Brentwood general account in the amount of $232,983.21, subject to it being true and correct. Which I will tell you that.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Dupree, a second by Parrish. Any discussion?
So that Higby Insurance invoice,
One is,
96,000, a little better than 96,000.
no, the Higby is, that is the one for Bernadette Spears that's a small one. It's the Bailey right here.
Oh, you don't Bailey.
Bailey. There's that one, and then there is one down here. So you'll see two Bailey insurances. One is for a bond and the 70,000. So you have,
That's what I was looking for, the 70,000.
and then the 5,000, I believe, was a cyber.
That's 70,000. That includes the increase in premium cost.
Yes,
Township
the 5,000 was the cyber policy that, then the 70,907 was the
And
increase.
also for the E&O?
Yes, which is half as much E&O as the prior boards had, because it was extremely difficult to get any E&O, being that there was choosing not to renewal letters from Huntington.
Also in there, isn't it the police in there, Monongahela Police there for the fourth quarter in there for 95,000?
Yes, the Monongahela
Yeah.
Police Department's
Right.
another 95,000 for the fourth quarter, so it appears to be a big bill pay, but there are two major factors for insurance and police protection. Okay, so roll call.
Dupree,
Yes.
Barr,
Yes.
Parrish,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Evans-Bourne, yes. Motion carried.
Okay. G, public comment. Yes, sir.
I just got two things on that one, on that motion
Sorry,
nine.
could you just say your name?
Ron Lorch. On that motion nine,
$50 fine, Mr. President.
will you pick Ed Fry on number
Yeah.
9? Is that junior or senior?
Oh, that's true.
Sorry.
We should put that in our motion.
Yeah, right.
Do you want to know if it was junior or senior
Yeah.
for Mr. Fry?
Yeah, I would like to know.
Disappointed.
I
I believe it was senior.
Let's see.
It was senior. I didn't see a junior after it.
Okay, well, I was curious.
Does he both still live in the community yet?
Yeah, they're both living in the township. And then, number 15, I have just a quick question about the sewage. You keep saying El Rama in with Peters Creek. We're not in with Peters Creek at all.
No, it's El Rama
Maybe El
Road.
Rama.
Okay, well, you said El Rama.
Road
Okay.
storage extension.
Because I know we're not in.
Sir, your name again for the record is,
Ron Lorch, Lorch,
and your address?
21 Circle Avenue, El Rama.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, when you
He's
said
dealing
that,
with the Finleyville,
I'm
Rama
thinking,
Road
why?
storage
Yeah.
extension.
Because we did you already have sewage though, don't you?
What's that?
You already have sewage though.
Yeah, we do. We go to West
We did
Elizabeth.
that, we
You
did
guys
that.
worked on that.
Yeah, you guys got that through. Yeah, we go down to West Elizabeth. That's why I was just curious when you said, you kept saying Peters. I thought, well, are we changing? We gonna pump up the hill or what? You know, I mean, I'm
We're
just,
rerouting it.
yeah, I'm just, yeah. That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment?
Your name down?
I'm Lori Knapp. You want to come up
Are
there?
you a resident or taxpayer of the township?
I am not.
Then you don't, no public comment.
I am,
Whoa.
She's not, it's what it says, it's Sunshine Access.
I am the representative of this township for the school board, and I do have a comment.
About the school board?
Yeah. It involves the school board.
All right, go ahead.
So you.
State your name and address, by the way.
My name is Maureen Knott.
Okay.
And my address is 510 Loxley Court.
Okay.
And, actually, I learned something tonight, Mr. Mako, and you taught me. You stated that, per the Sunshine Act, you are not permitted to state, the name of a person that you're hiring.
No, what I said to you is if we would say the name of that person ahead of time, and I've heard people in the past say you've already made your decision to hire somebody. And I've seen in the past where you put a position open, and you may think you're going to go with John Doe and they go with Susie Q. That's how we do it other places.
Could you tell me where in the Sunshine Act that is stated?
It doesn't say that in the Sunshine Act, but if we would say we're going to hire you for that position prior to the meeting, then we've already made a decision.
And why is that not permitted?
Because you can't make decisions supposedly outside the board, outside the board.
We can all independently
Then
make our
can
decision, but.
you tell me, because there seems to
Well,
be.
again,
Can I ask my question?
You've already asked your question.
No, that's not the full question.
Okay, what's the other question?
So, because there appears to be some inconsistency, because you have in here, for instance, board appointments for vacancies. You have the name of the people listed there, so that seems to be an inconsistency. You don't have any deliberation there.
Well, I'm just saying, from my position, it came up to hiring somebody for those positions, you leave it blank because people change their mind.
And then you have individuals here, and when you said, for one of them, you said, you listed the person's name, like, I don't remember, Christy Moore.
Christy Moore.
Is this the Christy Moore hire? So you seem to know who that was.
Well, because what we have, we need to get the offices, we need to get things moving in the office.
That's an intern.
She's the secretary, she works at Canton Township, along with Stephanie Petty. So what we're trying to do, check the bank accounts haven't been reconciled since September. So we're trying to get everything reconciled and put
It's
it
been
together.
reconciled since July.
I'm sorry, July.
Okay, because I just never heard that you can't put the person's name in there
You
before.
can.
I sit on a
You
board.
can, but again-
I sit on a board and we put the person's name and rate
Ma'am,
on it.
but no, Ms. Ott, I represent about 40 places, and sometimes we don't put that because I've seen people change their minds.
He didn't make the agenda, so it wasn't put on because we didn't know as a board who was gonna motion for who. There's no way to put on, I would've had to list all 25 people that applied for that job. So rather than do that, it was blank so that somebody could make a motion for one of those 25 people that we interviewed. It wasn't like a legal.
Because the people were here. They sat here and they were
That
in your
particular,
audience.
that particular person lives here. So although, I mean, it's not odd
I
that.
don't think you're fooling anybody, Michelle.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think you're fooling anybody either. You're very concerned for someone that doesn't live here, that a woman that is a resident, that does live in this community, would happen to attend her public meeting and criticize her for it. You can sit down now, your 4 minutes are up.
I want to answer this though. I was not at the meeting where they interviewed the two individuals that were chosen. I did not even get a copy of the resumes until today. There would have been no formal appointment of these people because I wasn't there to vote or see these people. I had to go off of the information that I got on the resumes afterwards. I would have been very irritated if all of a sudden these people had been appointed without me even knowing who they were.
Well, they don't need your vote anyway, there's 4 other ones.
What? Guess what? I still count my vote.
does.
Who asked you?
Me.
No, him.
Him.
I said, who asked you?
I don't even know who
All right,
he is.
guys, all right,
I
let's
pay
get back
taxes
to
in the town.
Hey, stop, everyone stop. Okay, who's next?
There's an ordinance about that too.
State your name. Sure.
Yeah.
And you're at, state your name.
You can be
and
now. Sit next to him.
This thing work, or do I still have to write a check?
Glad to see you
Mike-
back in the building.
Yeah, Mike Barn at 4042 Pindleville Rama Road. A lot of talk about sewage tonight. How many months has it been since the court order? Well, let's talk about Mingo. Are you guys concerned a little bit
What?
about a DEP fine? Not moving on Mingo Creek?
We're just,
How do you know what we're moving on?
Well,
well,
there
first,
isn't
let's go back to sewage, let's go
Yeah,
back to
that's fine.
Benil agreement. We have a meeting, we've been in touch with Mr. Kovach from Peters Creek Sanitary Authority, so we've been having discussions about that situation. That's the reason why we're gonna have a meeting on February 2nd at 5 p.m. So we'll be discussing that. The other situation, we've already had discussion with the new engineer about what needs to be done. That firm basically does a lot of grants, I've dealt with it over the years, so that's the next thing we'll be doing.
For Mingo Creek, you're referring
Or
to?
this,
Creek?
or this, what do you call it?
Mingo
Mingo
Circle.
Circle. Correct.
Mingo Circle. So, I'm just a little bit concerned about the DEP's approved plans for Benil Road. Are you starting from scratch?
Pretty much, because we received a letter from Mr. Harshman stating we never got around to doing the drawings.
It's approved.
How can it be approved when Mr.
The
Harshman has
DEP
already
approved
told
it.
us we don't
DEP
have drawings?
approved it.
DEP approves a 537. There is
Barnett,
nothing beyond
Yeah,
it.
yeah, right.
Mr. Barnett, I sent,
Yes, sir.
sometime early December, when this issue came up, I sent a letter to.
December of 2006?
I
or-
sent, December of 2022, I sent a letter to Mr. Flanagan about the situation, so we've already been in contact with them right now. He's retiring, I just got the news from Rick Kovach, he's retiring, so we are in touch with him about the circumstance.
How many more months do you think the tank's gonna be in my front yard?
We have a holding tank in your front yard. for
You don't know
sewage.
that?
I've heard about it.
You sure we can check up?
Some people say stormwater, some people.
Yeah, some people say stormwater, some people say it's,
Yeah, Washington Sewage Council said stormwater.
oh, did you send them down there?
They've been there previously.
Yeah, you
many
sent them
times.
down there, didn't you?
I wasn't on board. How would
No,
I-
you were just the guy up here at the podium, sending people down to my property, weren't you?
All right, Mr. Barnett, we are moving on. So if you want, we are moving on to different issues.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Okay.
Good to hear. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, you can always give me a call, sir.
Motion.
Kevin Daerr, section 187, Route 88, Finleyville. I have a whole bunch of things to talk about, but during this meeting, there was a whole bunch more to talk about. So let's start off with this. Your attorney said that the CPA that you guys hired tonight is competent. Competent. Is that the Union Township taxpayers deserve just competent?
When we refer to other professionals, you always refer to them as competent, sir.
Just competent.
He represents
You
about
didn't say
100,
the
he
word
represents,
just competent.
no, he
He
represents.
did.
You said confident.
He is competent.
He's confident.
And that's his own words. He's confident.
Well, it'd be a problem if he said incompetent.
And then you guys approved a 3-year deal when you had the option to do a 1-year deal on a firm that your attorney says is just competent. Now, Michelle, you said you like them. I appreciate that. But the rest of you guys, I could see where you voted yes. The rest of you guys, if you follow your advice of your solicitor, he's basically giving him not a vote of confidence.
No,
He's
I
just
am.
confident.
He
He's
represents.
just confident.
Wait a minute, mister. He represents about 100 places. That's competent.
Would you call him a good CPA?
Does a good job.
So he's good now.
Sir, you just, go ahead.
Go away. Go home.
Michelle, do you want to give a reason why you abstained from putting Carl in? Are you aware that you're required to do that?
No, she's not required.
I'm not required.
She's not required to say that. If it's a conflict of interest, then she has to announce it's a conflict of interest.
I'd like to talk about right to notice. 10/26 of 22, I filed right to notice. Whereas for financial disclosure statements, oaths of office, and the Campbell-Durant report that recorded the results of an investigation that Campbell-Durant performed into a hostile work environment where one supervisor created a hostile work environment for 2 former employees. I received no response for those right to knows. 0. No responses. even though I have copies of the right to knows with the time and date stamped. Right to knows were given to, what's her name? Bernie's friend, the girl back here that sits back here. True. Is she an employee of the township? Because she took these records, she showed Miss Evans. Miss Evans I asked for a time and a date stamp. Miss Evans instructed her to give me the copy with the time and date stamp. And then I heard nothing more from any of it. Yeah, it was when you guys came here after. It was right after the courthouse was shut. I've talked to other people that had their right to knows ignored. They filed right to knows here at this township, and they were ignored. Pretty hypocritical from some of the people who sit on this board now who complained vehemently for years about right to knows that weren't fulfilled.
So to clarify, the 26th you dropped them off, right? Would that be the day that the staff left here? The day that the judge appointed these 4 people?
That was the day.
That was
You
the day.
remember it. You were here.
26.
You were here.
26.
All of you were here.
So
And
on the
you
26th,
didn't have
the right to
you
know
didn't
and
have
report.
you didn't have
We had no
an executive
secretary.
session that
Did
day.
we have an, did
None
we
was
have a,
recorded.
Did we have an open records officer at that time?
There was no executive session that day, but you guys were here meeting.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
I came in and talked to the police chief, that was about the only thing I did.
okay. All right. Well, here's the issue. I gave it to her. Now she has sat back here. Is she an employee?
Was she here that day?
Yeah, she was here that day.
Was it
Oh,
October
yeah.
26th you said? you
Yeah,
gave
she
me
was
that?
here. She was here. She was here.
Couldn't have
She
been,
looked at
because
it.
Roberta was still here on October 26th.
Roberta and Terry were still here.
I didn't get my right to those. Okay. It's a shame. It is a shame.
It's a shame.
Because there's violations going. Sunshine law violations, right to know violations.
Could
It's
you
not.
speed it up, Mr. Daerr?
5 minutes.
Excuse me.
This
4
is
minutes
very
up.
important. When Larry had something
Can
to
you
say,
wrap it up in
You're a
about
minute
another
over.
minute?
I'm gonna wrap it up right now.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank PennDOT. PennDOT came to Route 88 and corrected a problem of water over the roadway. And this was a
That's crazy.
problem in front of Dairy Queen. It was commonly referred to as Lake Dairy Queen by Miss Evans. By Miss Evans. Lake DQ. There-
You
From,
should write
from
PennDOT a letter.
Mr.
I don't know that they
Dupree
watch these
is
meetings.
correcting me.
I don't know that they watch these meetings. You might wanna.
So they fixed the problem, by removing the millings that were
Okay,
placed
so-
there
6
by
minutes.
Mr. Dupree,
I
I mean,
motion
Mr.
that
Cox.
we-
6 minutes.
No, let it go. It got,
I-
how many
yeah.
minutes? Are you almost done or what?
Are you almost done?
I'm almost done. By Mr. Cox, put there by 88, along 88, that was damming up the water. I know this because I watched them do it. Right after that, a puddle gathered there and never left for years. Years. You guys all know that. You had to drive through it when you went to Dairy Queen. But the problem was, every time it rained, it went over the top of the road and created a hazardous situation for the people on Route 88. And PennDOT agreed.
It went right in, went right
My,
into
my
my
last,
business.
as soon as they removed those millings, the puddle disappeared. Magically, it disappeared. The last thing I have to say is, I'd like to thank State Representative Kuceric for his help in this situation and getting this situation corrected. He was instrumental in getting that problem and that hazardous situation fixed on Route 88 that plagued the people of Union Township for almost 3 years.
Why didn't he fix it sooner?
3 years.
He should have done it sooner.
Any other public comment? Mr. Lawson said you wanted to.
I got one real quick one here.
Sure.
On
Could
the
you
Gilmore,
state your name
on the
for the
Gilmore
record?
Shores valve.
Glenville Rim Road, on the Gilmore Road thing, the slides and that. I think it was Steve, you know where that water's coming from. You had a little incident there many years ago, I think, wasn't that you? When the truck went over? You had Doc Woods go down there with a dozer, pull you up?
Yeah, we had the National Guard pull us out of there with a truck on that bend one time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's.
Well, that house down there is not landlocked. You said it was landlocked. It's not landlocked. That property goes down and meets Cold Bluff Road.
It does not go all the way down. Check the deeds, you'll find, you check the tax maps, you'll
It
find.
doesn't touch Cold Bluff?
No, George,
No.
look at the Washington County parcel, it doesn't, I'll look at that.
I'm not.
Because I know that property had a gas well right down there on Cold Bluff Road.
I'm just looking at the Washington County parcel ID view, and it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, because if you go Cold Bluff, you'll see that gas well there, that's an old gas well.
I
That was
see
part of
that.
that property.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Lawson, you said you wanted to comment?
Yes. My name's Rick Lawson, live on 561 McClellan Road. I have a couple comments on some items that were stated here. I'm going to give them my opinion and what Pete and the new solicitor should do. Pete from Tuscany says its previous officials dropped the ball. It's not it's township's responsibility to fix these homeowner association problems. Pete, you really need to get involved in it. The bond was inadequate that was approved when that whole project started. It's in deficiency. Miranda and Quaker Engineering are arguing over money. That's what it's about. I was involved in it with Jamie. Jamie actually helped you guys in trying to negotiate this, to get this done. You need to talk to them and get up to speed on it. The airport. I mean, everybody's quick to throw Harshman under the bus. I guess I'm just as bad, because when I was beating up on his bills, I went after him. It's my understanding at the airport that they were doing grading and underpinning of buildings before they even obtained a permit is what caused the problem. I could be 100% wrong. Again, you need to get with Jamie, because I was up there with him, and that's what he told me. Things might have changed since then. I'd like to comment on the agenda. In my opinion, I think it's totally illegal. Michelle, you were the one that pushed us to have an agenda 4 days ahead of time. And yet you're changing it 4 hours before the
We
meeting.
didn't change it.
Yeah, you did.
No, we took that item
You
off.
changed it.
We took
What
that
I
item
printed
off
out last
and,
night compared to what you have this afternoon is night and day. It's different. And I'm not gonna let that drop either. I also heard the cameras were dismantled. Is that correct? Anybody answer that?
No, did you have any other questions?
Yeah. I believe the cameras were unplugged, is what I was told. Because somehow the new board feels that the old board was listening to them. I don't know if you guys know me. I just got a good phone. I've had a flip phone forever. These cameras don't have audio. And if you look at the invoice, it was disabled when it was put in there. But in my opinion, why they were dismantled was, I have a picture of Michelle laying here on the supervisor's table during the day. I believe that's why it was dismantled. And as far as being worried about somebody listening, do you guys know you're being secretly and illegally taped every conversation you have with this lady, because she told me and 5 other people she secretly tape records every meeting, every conversation. I keep it in my purse. This is the kind of board you guys have here. So you can say all you want. I heard there was a right to know on cameras. Why don't you print out the thumb drive and give it to the people? You're stalling. You're not being transparent.
That's right.
Those are facts. You're not being transparent. I also heard that the GPSs were dismantled. Why would we dismantle GPSs? I mean, they're such a great tool for maintenance. We had a problem years ago. The road crew wasn't changing oil for 3 years. we have bills in $13,000, $15,000. It tracks that stuff. You know what else it tracks? If you have an accident, every road you're on, it has the miles per hour. If you have an accident, man, you could just find out what's going on. But you know what? How about if a truck, heaven forbid, goes over the hill plowing snow? Every truck would be located instantly. They don't want to use the radios, but I believe that they were dismantled for the same reason I initiated putting them on. The road crew joyriding around up at Ross Draper Airport, down in Brentwood. That's why it was put on. And they just don't like, oh, I don't know why you're looking like that. I don't know why it's so bad. It's a great tool. And you dismantle it. Those are my comments for this meeting. Thank you and goodbye.
I used to have flip phone also. So I'm like you, flip phones are better than fancy phones.
They're coming back, man. They are.
Could you state your name?
Bernie Spear, 5106 Chevy Chase Drive.
Thank you.
If these are such problems that you were worried about, why did you walk out on us?
She's sitting right up front.
And you're welcome. If that be the case, you're welcome.
Okay, let's be professional. So, state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Robert Tully. I am one of the owners of the Finleyville Airport at 196 Airport Road. This gentleman just made a statement which is completely false and misleading, and I have to correct it. The issue of the pilings causing problems up there is like a nut statement. One individual, and he was here tonight, Shane Barr, who talked to you about the sewer and water project. Okay, his hangar, the back of it actually started to settle, and he brought a contractor to reinforce the back of his hangar to stop the settle. Okay, apparently that work required a permit, which he didn't know about. He got into a little spat with Harshman over it, but he did get the permit. Okay, the work was done and everything is fine. It has no connection to the sewer and water project. It has no connection to the stormwater issues that are up there. And I just wanted to, for the record, make that clear.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Come over here. No. Okay. How are we doing? I was just
State your name for the record.
Charles Strax.
We have an address, please.
I know you can. I just have a quick question about Cordox Road and when you guys plan on finishing.
Don't you need his address for the record?
Probably he's supposed to put his address.
Can
You
give
denying me
for
from
the
speaking?
meeting minutes?
No, but, okay, so what I'll do is we'll look at that probably next couple of weeks.
Okay. As in you're gonna look into getting it done?
Analyze it first, you have to look at it first and then analyze it.
Okay, you're gonna analyze the lawsuit going along with it too?
Is there a lawsuit with it?
There we go. Okay.
The
we'll
Maynard
move on to
lawsuit?
that
I thought
one.
the Maynard lawsuit's over with. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
I
That's
thought
what I'm
it's
saying,
over.
it's all done?
Is it over?
Is
I
it
thought
over?
it was over. I thought I saw something.
Yes, okay, good.
Someone sent me something the other day about it, I thought.
We'll move on from that. Who wrote the meeting minutes this time? You don't have to tell me. If you need help, my 7-year-old can help you guys because it was atrocious. Other than that, I just want to refer back to Rick and the level of professionalism of this picture.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Supervisor hard at work.
Yes, supervisor.
Hard at work. When you're awake.
There she is.
I think the tax collector was here, that was a
She
judge.
was. She was right with you.
Yeah, that was a judge with the tax collector.
Yep.
More pictures to come.
Sir, state your name and address. I'm sorry. Hey, guys. Sir, state your name and address. Spell your last name.
MERSI.
Hey, guys, he's trying to talk. Go
I
ahead,
was
sir.
just curious about Cardox Road as well. I moved in about 2.5 years ago.
Can you spell your last name? I'm sorry.
MERSING. I moved in about 2.5, 3 years ago, and the road was in pretty bad shape. And then they started doing the widening project, and it was actually looking nice. And then all of a sudden, they stopped. They tarred and chipped the road, which I know the state does that, everybody does that. and it makes it really dangerous for motorcycles. But recently, last spring, well, summer, the tar and chips started failing. There was oil all over the road. I've almost wiped out numerous times going onto car lots from 88. Also, there's a lot of speeding going on that road. I know they recently put up the mile per hour indicator, but we kind of want some speed humps or something installed if possible. And that can't be done until there is a 1 year or whatever, like they have to watch it.
The problem with speed humps is traffic calming devices. Sometimes you won't get liquid fuels if you put those in, get very careful. Okay?
Well, I know we were told that they have to research it and make sure it's all okay, but they can't do that until the road is completed. And it's been 2 years now, and I pay a lot of money in taxes every year. I would really love this road fixed.
Again, there's so much going on that we're trying to take care of. I mean, so we'll try to take a look at it next week or two for you.
Okay, and then there's also orange barrels down the street from me on Pardocks that make the road even more narrow. And
Really?
it's very dangerous. If you want to drive down there and look at it,
It's a state requirement.
I understand that, but it's
State requirement to do what?
To notify the public, the
road
cars.
narrows. Yeah.
Instead of letting them drive off the road, there's
The road narrows, and there's
No
also
guide,
like
no guide rails, is there guide rails in the road?
no, but there's a steep drop off there too. So
No
I think
guide rails
that's
at all?
why. Yes, there's no guide rails.
All right,
But they're supposed to widen it, of course, and we've been waiting. And there was I understand there was a big lawsuit, and that's all done and over with. So
we'll try to look at it next week or two for you, okay?
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment?
Yes. Anybody want to go before me? Okay. Where do I start? Okay. I've heard a lot about comments from the last couple months from this board table. Where's the PowerPoint on the offices in the disarray? There was supposed to be a PowerPoint. Where is it?
It'll be probably the next meeting.
We're looking forward to
We're
that.
doing interviews and hiring.
So my question is, why wasn't there an official police report done? If the offices were in such shambles, 3 months have gone by, why wasn't a police report done? I don't know, maybe it was. It's not been mentioned here. So that was my first. Where's our camera system? I've heard rumors as well that the camera system is not working in this township. There should be no reason for that. This is township assets.
Maybe
The township, it's my turn, Supervisor Dupree. Please
well, I
don't
can
interrupt
speak
me.
when I want to, and I can't interrupt you if I want to.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Okay, keep going. Go ahead.
Okay, so that's something the public needs to be very interested in. Where's our camera system? When you park your car, when you come in here, you need protection as well as a citizen. It's your township asset. There should be cameras. They're cheap. They have them everywhere. Why are they not working in this township? What's happening down here? Okay, employees. Employees. How many do we have? I know we hired a few tonight. We hired a few at the last meeting. I saw the agenda. Did we dismiss any?
Well, we have people here on an interim basis working a few hours. They're all treasurers in other different townships, so they come in a few hours a week to help out.
Okay, so they're
doing payroll and things like that.
Okay, so we have currently about 6 in the
No,
administration?
you have three part-time employees working in the office, reconciling checkbooks, putting the files in order, getting things like that, which have to be done.
Okay, and then 2 that were hired this evening?
Two were hired, and once those people get hired, in about 2 weeks they come to work, then basically the people we have will be like mentors.
Okay, thank you. Could you imagine to some of the residents, friends and family watching on the live stream this evening, and by the way, thank you, a resident stepped up to live stream this meeting. Where did the live stream go?
Yeah.
Why is this board not live streaming the meetings anymore? Where is the transparency? Thank you to the resident who's doing that, and I hope there's hundreds of people watching this evening. Could you imagine if we did that on this township board? Okay, where's the solicitor bills, Mr. Maple?
I haven't had a chance to do a solicitor bill yet.
Okay, so we were really chastised for what we called holding bills. You're planning a budget, or you planned a budget, you executed a budget, but there's been several months of no solicitor bill. I don't get that.
I had, just for the record, no, I don't just tell you the truth. My main person that does the billing was off maternity.
And truly, Mr. Maple, you don't have to justify.
No, I'm just telling you.
You have five 5 heads of this
Ma'am, I'm just
township.
telling you, asked the question, say what happened.
And
Darlene's on vacation.
I'm asking the supervisors who run this township, with due respect. That's who I want the answers from. We got really chastised that you're holding bills. Mr. Wilson, where's the bills? Why aren't you demanding them? Okay,
The
now,
bills from-
CPA. No
Excuse me,
3 years.
no, since
It's
you
my
asked the
turn, please
question,
do not interrupt me.
I would like to ask the question
No,
back.
there-
Which bills are you referring to?
Mr. Makel, it is my understanding that it is unpermissible in a second-class township to have an auditor have a 3-year term.
It happens to times.
Ambulance and police are absolutely allowed to have a contract. Several-year contracts for auditors, I'm pretty sure is unpermissible.
We have it other places.
Well, that doesn't make it right. I'm just saying,
Just how you
I'm
do it.
fairly certain that that's unpermissible, and I would definitely check on that.
At least it'll get done.
Abstain. Yes, you have to mark why you're abstaining. I've had to abstain. I called several PSAT organizations. They always advise me, you absolutely, as a sitting supervisor, have to go on record why you abstain for any reason, conflict or no.
Yep, that's not the law. Go
Okay.
ahead.
No right to knows. I found a right to know here as well. I don't have the date with me, and I got nothing. I got no 5-day. I got no 30-day. I got 0. No response.
Oh.
And that's allowed? That's allowed. You mentioned Ms. Ott that wasn't a member of this township, and there's a person here that's not a member of this township. None of you say a thing.
I pay taxes here, so shut up.
They're selected. This is selected.
Okay, now you can speak.
I do?
All right, hey guys, come on, let's keep moving. Go ahead.
So, listen, someone is barking out and interrupting my First Amendment rights, but no one says anything.
I just
They
said
get me
it.
off track.
I just said everybody, just keep moving.
Okay, minutes, where are the minutes? Why are they not listed on the websites? Where are the minutes? It's 3 months of backlog minutes.
They're still missing.
I have screenshots of the agenda from last night in the time. The agenda was changed for today. That agenda was posted, and it was severely changed. And I'm very disappointed in that. And I think it should be of a concern of all of you sitting here. Okay, there's something very important, and I'm going to skip because there's more meetings to attend and more things to get the truth on. Union Township deserves the truth. Miss Darla Savco picked me out of the front seat, and I respect you, Darla. We go back a long time. Yeah. Our kids, we're relatively best friends. Okay, so are you interrupting my freedom of
Yeah,
speech?
you are having a personal conversation with audience
I
members
could
way
say a
past the
prayer.
4 minutes.
I could say
You
a
are
prayer.
way past the 4 minutes, so say your
You've
prayer at
interrupted
home.
me so. You keep interrupting me, and you're getting me off track. You're discombobulating me. You're letting residents interrupt my freedom of speech. Miss Sasso, I'm going to give you an answer. And this gentleman here asked me the same thing, and Miss Spears came up to the podium and asked so bluntly, "Why did you quit?" I'm going to tell you why I quit. And I'm going to eat this out over the next couple meetings because there's really interesting information to tell you all. But primary is, are you all aware of the lawsuit that hit this township? It was the Naders and Gennady Acts. And it was a federal lawsuit that cost this township, all of you sitting here, all of you on Facebook Live watching, thank you for watching, it cost you potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees that we, the board up here, had to struggle and pay. All the while, several of you out in the audience, came up to this podium and chastised us for overextending legal fees. There was one key ingredient that nobody failed to tell the citizens of Union Township.
Tell them.
3 of you sitting on this board filed affidavits supporting this lawsuit that was asking $5 to $6 million off of Union Township taxpayers and the board. We had to
Cost
defend
them more
ourselves.
money.
We had to. It was asking for $5 to $6 million. 3 people, Michelle Dupree, Linda Evans-Bourne, and Larry Spar, filed affidavits in support of this lawsuit.
Hold it there, Heather Daerr. You want to talk about
Hey guys,
truth?
let's
Hold it, Dennis. Hold it. Let's talk about truth. Wait a minute. That affidavit I filed was filed in support of getting the Attorney General in here or the Auditor General to demand that the township residents get financial statements.
That-
It had nothing to do
I'm
with
not
that
here to
law.
argue with
Get
you.
yourself
I
squared
want every
away.
taxpayer to know that you should get this lawsuit, and I think it's going to be made available very soon. Look at it, look at the attachment, look at who filed affidavits against the taxpayers of Union
so
Township.
she's gonna-
And then,
If
we're
you're
gonna
not
find out
gonna know
how
how to
much
use
it costs.
PayPal, then you better
You
not.
lost a park, you lost roads.
Ms. Daerr, if you could have a seat. Thank you.
Wait a minute.
Yes. We got one more. It's gonna go on forever.
Welcome to your first Union Township meeting.
Ain't you having fun yet?
Many more to come.
Albert Benassi, 6430 Union Avenue, Finleyville. An employee here for 45 years. No tough cameras. August 18th, 2020. Why was I followed and having pictures taken of me from this township? Anybody have an answer? I don't want the answer. I already know. Taking pictures of me, following me around.
No answers.
You talking about wasting taxpayers' money?
All right. Sir, you state your name.
Sam Camp, resident of Cardox Road.
He's a
So,
gentleman that has dealt with barriers.
yeah, I have a question about
Sure.
this. So the lawsuit in regard to Cardox Road is.
I think I saw some the other day.
We believe it, we've been hearing that it's been finished up and.
Okay, so I'm a resident that has 20-some odd Jersey barriers filled with water in front of my property. My concern is those Jersey barriers have created a bottleneck in that road, right? From a road that was widened on two ends and bottlenecks at a blind turn. Where I live, all day I hear beeping, people screaming at each other, swearing at each other, hitting the barriers. Okay, those barriers, I understand what they're there to do, but we need to resolve the road issue. We need to get that road to one width, right? We need to make it a safe environment. I have a 5-month-old son, I wouldn't let him in my front yard. I think that's something we need to talk about sooner than later. I think we need to review that project. and
I
get it
agree.
complete.
Excuse me, can you spell your last name?
We'll talk to the engineer about this week for you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Just to let you know, I did have the engineer down your road last week. He just started last week.
So do we?
That was one of the first places we took him to.
Is that project on Union Township's radar as far as things that we need to get on sooner than later, or is that gonna be pushed off longer than?
No, we've got a myriad of different things. We've got the sewage projects we have to look at. We have to look at car docks, a couple of things, but you are on the radar. Okay? All right, so motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Did you want to do an executive session?
Well, I had it on there in case
No.
anybody did, but I don't think.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I will second that motion at, what is it, 8:43? Yeah, good thing Sandy didn't come.
I just have a question for both of you. I haven't been a resident for 47 years. Why did you quit? Yes. I'm just asking you. I'm asking you.
He's stealing money, nothing's right. Because my wife was attacked at the last meeting, I wasn't able to put up with it.
I just don't understand.
My wife was attacked at the last meeting, I was holding all these guys together. This is corruption.
I'm nobody's friend. I'm just saying. I'm for my own idea. You know, if I don't need to know, that's fine. You seem like a guy that cares. I mean, that's what I'm asking.
This township was growing, cooking.
I know it was. That's why I moved down on the other end, like I said. I thought,
So you said it should make you supporting the lawsuit, and they were spending money.
I'm just asking. I'm nobody's friend. I'm not here to say you said this or you said that. I'm not here. I'm asking you to be